So I remember, I remember that yesterday we have a talk about something about the criminal law. Yes, do you remember? Have I told you about it? Something related to the special animals. If you killed one, killed the amount arrived, the law has prescribed, and you may be quite the crime. Maybe these provisions I have told you. Have I told you? You can see it. This is the provisions in criminal law in China, Article 100 and Article 341. Whoever illegally catches or kills precious or endangered species of wildlife under special state protection or illegally purchases, transports, sells such animals as well as the products and shall be sentenced to fixed term imprisonment of not more than 5 years or criminal detention and shall also be fined. So the amount for the focus yesterday I introduced to you, and just 2, if you kill 2, that arrive the penalty standards. So if you killed 6, you can hear, not less than 5 years, but not more than 10 years. So if you kill if not above 10, so that may be more than 10 years. So that's the provision related yesterday I told you. In China, we have all kinds of laws and regulations, such as civil law, criminal law, environmental protection law, and also about economic law, social law, so many. But first, before I introduce every or each law to you, something came to my mind about the last class. The last class, you know?
Yeah.
上一届 last class. One day I talked to the classmates. I remember that he is a monitor in the class, and I talked to him. I asked him, did you have an idea of settling down in China? I told him, do you have an idea of settling down in China? So I remember that he kept shaking his hand. No, I have no idea. So I'm very curious about it. I said, why? He said many things, such as religious belief, such as economic condition, such as the family's wish. And finally, I remember that he said that he just stay here for studying well, and then he will go to West countries and make lots of money. So I said that, would you like me to introduce the conditions of obtaining the Chinese green card? At that time, he said, no, I think that it is not necessary. So I'm very understanding, and I respect him. But we all know that epidemic is spreading, right? Was spreading. So several months ago, maybe it is not the right expression. I received a message from him, and he said that, teacher, could you tell me the conditions of obtaining the Chinese green card? So I'm very surprised because 1 year ago, I said that I will tell you the conditions, how to settle down in China, but you said that there is no need. But after the epidemic, in the academic period, maybe something is changing. So I think that for most of us, many things we maybe think it is necessary, such as health, such as economic condition, such as religious belief, such as family relations. But when we experience the epidemic, something is changing. So here I wondered that all of you here, would you like me to introduce conditions about settling in China?
Yes.
Although it is very difficult, but I think that we should know whether we will stay in China or not. But really, you can feel that, in my mind, every country has its good side or bad side. Not all the countries is perfect. I think that. So maybe you can choose which countries is fit for you, is very fit for you. So I prepared it yesterday and introduced it. I think first I can tell you permanent residence identity card for foreigners. So look at it here. If you want to apply for Chinese nationality, in 2004, China promulgated the administrative measures for the examination and approval of foreigners' permanent residence in China. Permanent residence. There are many conditions about the first. So everyone should abide by Chinese law. Be in good health is the basic, and have no criminal records. Next, direct investment in China, stable investment for 3 consecutive years, and good tax records. If you are interested, you can see the internet. That means many money. So I don't think it's. I think it doesn't fit to you. That is direct investment means that you must have 很厚重的 economic conditions, right? Next, you can see the second. Those who have held the position of deputy general manager or deputy factory director, that means that you will be a businessman. I think it's very hard for you. At least you will spend many years, right? And you may be associate professor, like me stand here, teach, introduce, or become a lawyer, become the teacher in higher educating institutions. And serve for 4 consecutive years. So some students asked me that if I have been studied here, so the time will be counted into the 怎么说？就是会不会计算到那个时间之内 ？Will be counted to the period? No. The study time will not belong to the consecutive years. So if you want to stay here, master, the time will start from you give the application. You know? Give the application. So, and at least three years and have a good tax record. Everyone should have good tax record. And the third one, those who have made significant and outstanding contributions to China. So, what is significant and outstanding contributions? For example, if you are technical tenants, do you know? Tenants, that means some card agent in research, scientific research. Do you know? 就是非常强悍在某一个领域啊。In some special fields, nobody can substitute for you, and you can do it very well. So maybe I think that the later provisions may apply to you. Spouses of persons referred to item 1, the first, the second, and the third of this paragraph, and there are unmarried children under the age of 18. Here. So, why is needed to unmarried children? And why it will be under the age of 18? Do you know the reason?
No.
If you have married, it will be a husband or wife, and maybe have son or daughter, and it will 2 or more people. And if you are married, maybe whether you will change your nationality will permitted by your husband or by your wife. So it cannot be decided by yourself, and you may consider about many conditions or many things. So it applies to the unmarried children. And why it must be under the age of 18? Because in China, later I will introduce civil code for you in China, civil code. Do you know? That is provisions regulate the equal people. And in civil code China, Chinese civil code, if the person has not arrived 18 years old, he will be regarded as the legitimated of conduct legitimate capacity of disposing, civil disposing. Do you know? Legitimate, L-I-M-I-T-E-D. Limited, let me say. Limited capacity of conducting. So if you're under the age of 18. So at this time, you will not be seen an adult. So what you did can be comply with your parents. So this kind of person will comply with the parents and acquire the Chinese nationality. So, next. Yes? Yes? Here?
I want to ask when you say four consecutive years, does it include students or non-students?
Which? Can you come here?
Number 2.
Number 2? Which sentence?
It said for 4 consecutive years.
Last line.
Have served for 4 consecutive years.
Does it include students or non-students?
Includes students? No. I said that since you make the application for you want to obtain the Chinese nationality, and the time will start from that, but not include the study time here.
So you mean that for you to apply for a permanent resident permit, you have to wait for 4 years or?
Yes. No. 就是
After apply, that time
Yes.
will be count.
yes. Do you hear that?
You have to count from 1 to 4 years.
Yes. Consecutively, that not be interrupted. Not be interrupted. So I think that maybe the principle or the provisions fit for you is the fifth. The spouse of a Chinese citizen or a foreigner who has obtained permanent residence in China, has been in China for more than 5 years, has resided in China for at least 5 years, and has stayed in China for no less than 9 months each year, and has a stable living, security, and residence. But it is still difficult.
So you have to buy a resident house.
Buy a house.
Own house.
It is not a necessary condition.
We can rent a house, yes?
Rent house. Yes, you can rent a house, but that will depend on the girl's parents recognize or whether the girl's parents are satisfied with this kind of thing. Because in China, many people get married, and the girl's family will consider more about his daughter, and they may choose the boy or the man have 足够的 enough or very good economic condition, and if he has house, if he has have a car, and the girl's parents may think that my daughter will be treated very well, so maybe he will marry his daughter to this man. So, but not it not prescribed in laws or regulations. No, it's just because every parents wish, parents hope. So that means 叫做国情 the true situations in China, true situations that but not belongs to the range of law. So next, unmarried children under the age of 18 who turn to their parents. This is the same as the fourth. Seventh, those who have no linear relatives outside the country who have joined the intermediate relatives in China and have reached the age 6. Oh, I think it's very old. Not fit for you, right? The age of 16. So, foreigners who, this is the foreign permanent resident ID card. Look at this. Yes. Foreigners who have approved to obtain Chinese green card shall stay China for no less than 3 months each year, and shall stay in China for no less than 1 year within 5 years. We can see some data. How many foreigners obtain? Okay. From 2004 to 2013, only 7,356 people received the cards, and equivalent to only more than 700 issued each year. I think that because there are many people in China, contrasted with America, the number is very 很少 little. Yes. So this is about Chinese green card. Next question. Can foreigners apply the Chinese criminal law? Some people may think that if I don't stay in China for many times, maybe I do something and quickly come back to our country. So I will not restricted or controlled by the Chinese law. For example, you know that there are some exploration. No, explode. 爆炸. Can you send the mails, send the package from one country to another, and when the package come here, if you open it and boom, how to read? Explosion. Explosion, right? So this kind of thing, of course, we believe that it belongs to committing crime, right? But the criminals outside our country, but he did it. So our criminal law, will our criminal law be regulate this kind of behavior? So look at this. Article 6, territorial jurisdiction. This law applies to crimes committed with the territorial People's Republic of China. That means most of the time, anything must happen in China. But next, this law shall also apply any crime committed on board a ship or aircraft. You know, ship, aircraft. If you do something, will be regulated by our law. And next one, if the acts or results of a crime occurs. So that is, I said, if you do something outside the country, but the bad consequence happened in our country, so we can apply this criminal law to you. Any one conditions of it, acts or results happened in China, and you will be regulated by our criminal law. So. And next, this law may be applicable to foreigners who outside China's territorial commit crimes against the China state or against its citizens, provided that this law stipulates a minimum sentence of not less than 3 years fixed term or imprisonment for such crimes. Do you understand this? That means sometimes you offense, you offended, but if it's below the penalty of 3 years fixed imprisonment, maybe you will be escaped from imprisonment or will not be committed a crime. But we should know that there are many provisions in criminal law. The number is over 400. The number of articles above 400. So whether the criminals commit a crime before he did it, and he will look at the codes and find whether my behavior is conform to the law? No. Many times criminals commit a crime, and that because we code it that commit passion， 就是叫做激情犯罪。Do you know? Commit I will check it. Sorry. Commit of passion crime. Do you know commit of passion crime? So that means he did the criminal suddenly and will not make preparedness for check the laws whether his behavior is conform to the law. That's the meaning. I don't know whether you understand. So, and another substance is that if the authority promulgates the law, and it will be revised from time to time. So the standards will change. Standards will change. So we cannot find what kind of things will fit to the minimum sentence of not less than 3 years imprisonment. Because when you committed, when you did it, maybe the provisions of criminal law is changing. So I think these laws will have the subsequence. It's very difficult for you. I introduce the law for you. Next, I will introduce some important problems in law learning. So before we start it, we should know this. We should make sure about these questions. First, what is law? So that means what's the characteristic about the law? What's the content of law? And what's the difference between law and the norms? So next, who makes the law? So are these laws, do you think are these laws made by our President Xi Jinping? Do you think
No.
Chinese laws are made by our president?
No.
They are sent by
We cannot absolutely say
Maybe.
yes or no. Signed by Xi Jinping, signed by our president, but must experience the formal procedures. So, when we make sure about who makes the law, that means we will know the legislature in China, the legislative body in China. Next, what is the law-making process? What is the law-making process? Does the law enacted today and performance tomorrow? That means if the law will be enacted overnight? No. Sometimes, most of the times, it will experience a long period of time, at least 3 months. But sometimes will experience half a year, sometimes will more than 1 year. For example, yesterday I told you that we must introduce introduction of Chinese law to all the international students because in 2017, the Ministry of Education published the laws, right? Yesterday I told you, and it is related to the recruitment the international students. But till last year, and we make this preparation for 1 year. Include we will change my teaching plan. So we need the teachers can introduce this kind of laws to you and must familiar with the measure of law and must can